Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, Sabrina Daly and Isani Caetano.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Sabrina Daly.
And I'm Isani Caetano. Good morning.
And good morning, Isani.
Good morning, Sab. Good
How
morning.
you doing?
I'm good. It's
Yeah.
Tuesday and I want to come up on
I know.
Tuesday,
It's
right?
really odd, right? It feels like we're sort of just now starting the week, but yesterday was a little bit of a
You guys
different
were
day
out
for
west,
us.
right?
We were.
And I was in the office, so this morning I'm at work early, and of course I'll be joining you once again tomorrow morning.
Yes.
So
Does
back
it
to
feel?
back.
Does it feel kind of like you got a little bit of an extended weekend when
Of
you don't
course.
have to do the morning show
Man,
on
you
a
didn't
Monday?
even have to ask me that. You're supposed to know that.
I could imagine. So I normally enjoy that. But you know, it was such a blessing to wake up in a different part of the country on a Monday morning.
So I'll go a bit further, to say that Cayo, the district, not even just Santa Elena or San Ignacio, the district, waking up in Cayo on a beautiful morning where you see the sunrise and the hills and everything. Beautiful thing.
Yeah,
I've had that experience a couple of times, and yeah.
So
sometimes I wish.
So why you not go do country tour?
No,
That's the
man.
question I
I have
ask
other
you.
responsibilities immediately afterwards.
Yeah, you want to enjoy the blessing and wake up the car. You could. I'm kidding.
No,
I'm kidding.
and I'm only saying that on leisure. Not waking up in Cayo for work.
For work.
Per se, right?
Yeah.
I
You don't
wanna
want
be
to wake
able
up
to lay down in
5:30.
our hammock and watch the sun come up and, birds chirping and things of that sort.
No, I'm still reeling from the high of the Cayo hospitality. And I know that we'll be experiencing that for the better part of the next 4 or so trips that we're going to be taking across the country. I know we have Corozal next, and I remember my experience last year, just as good as Cayo. But you feel refreshed. You get a sense of what different pockets of the country feel about the show too.
Yeah.
People come out to the communities or the different areas that we would be stationed, and they want to meet and greet us and even see that live production take place. And that's just a unique experience that I don't think any other morning show is doing right now, at least in the country.
And I figure when they see the van and everything,
Yeah, right?
that's an
OIE
attraction
van,
unto itself, right?
The GBM van, the all kind of thing that take place. I want you to really get to appreciate the entire machinery, I think, as well, that puts off a show like this or any type of production that we would put off. So I just want to quickly say again, good morning to our Cayo family. I know for me, Cayo feels like home. It's definitely a part of my life as well. And so I just want to say thank you guys so much for the hospitality yesterday. But we're gonna keep things moving. We head to Corozal, as I mentioned, for our next stop. But Isani, the show must go on. And we are back in our studio home. And so we have some conversations lined up for you guys that I'm certain you will appreciate this morning. Let's go over here with me. So we're going to start things off with the BHA, the Belize Hotel Association, and Sagicor Life Partnership. They will be having a conversation with us around understanding your health and life insurance benefits. And then after that, we'll be also sitting down with our friends from the Belize Tourism Board while they highlight what accommodation providers need to know for 2026. And then moving into some pageantry conversation. I know it feels kind of like pageant season recently. Well, we'll be sitting down with Miss World 2026 and the journey of representing Belize. And then we're going to wrap things up with a bit of entrepreneurship spotlight, highlighting a young, driven, and a young driven entrepreneur meeting Wakeem Arzu, who built a barbershop business at the age of 15. I'll send things over to Isani now.
All right, thanks, Sab. Guys, here are the 5 things that you need to know before you leave your homes this morning. UNESCO names Belize City as the country's first tsunami-ready community. That's a conversation you don't want to miss. And of course, domestic animals are found dead in Cayo district, right? So we've been talking a bit about, animal abuse and that sort of stuff, and this conversation is another timely one. We'll have that as well. And senior counsels Godfrey Smith and Eamon Courtney are tapped to assist Guyana in the wake of the MV Barima tragedy. So they will be assisting the Guyanese government as they launch a commission of inquiry. We'll also get into that conversation. All right, and of course, rapper Shine Barrow, yes, he's off on tour in August. We're going to be talking music. We're going to be talking who he's touring with and all of that good stuff. Last but certainly not least, KTV The Remix Season 8. Tonight is R&B night, and we're going to talk about all the expectations that you guys can have looking forward to the show later on today. All right, so those are the 5 things that we're having for you this morning. Sab, take it away.
Alrighty, Isani, thank you very much. Well, let's move into things very quickly. I know at the top of the list we were talking a bit about Belize City and its preparedness, really, or if we think it is prepared enough to take on a tsunami. Well, yesterday, Belize received recognition as being tsunami ready. And for me, it was really a reflection, Isani, of the Belize City state in general, the landscape of what you would come to anticipate during the rainy season. There were some persons in the comment section kind of really questioning how ready Belize is for a tsunami, especially after getting that recognition from UNESCO. When Belize get one drizzle, right? Areas flood out. And so I don't know. A lot of people are questioning how legitimate that might be.
So we haven't experienced a tsunami in our lifetime as people who live in Belize, right? But I could recall at least on 2 prior occasions in the wake of an earthquake in the region where tsunami warnings have been sent out. And I can recall from where I live in Lake Independence and where the fire station was right next to Atlantic Bank on Cleghorn Street there. You hear the sirens blaring, right? You hear the sirens blaring, and there was a vehicle, I believe, that was circling the city, telling people to stay inside or to heed the tsunami warning, right? And so that was one instance where I recall that there was the likelihood that a tsunami could have come our way. Fortunately, it didn't. There was another one where there was also an earthquake, a tremor somewhere off the coast. Didn't directly impact Belize, but I remember Belizeans went out because they would wait for city water recede and come in back, right? And I'm thinking to myself, well, while we haven't experienced a tsunami before, going out to anticipate what's going to happen next was quite irresponsible. But those are my 2 experiences with a tsunami alert or a warning, right? But to see that our government and of course the Belize City Council have been working to ensure that Belize City is prepared for that kind of a disaster, right? You never know when one will come, right? And we've been saying, look, while we don't sit in the earthquake belt per se, when earthquakes hit Honduras or other places, all of that ripple effect, so to speak, stands to affect us here in Belize by way of tsunamis, right? And the certification, it's a first start. I don't look at it as, okay, can we withstand a tsunami? Perhaps we can. Are we ready?
So
yes, we are.
Based on some of the, based on a little bit of research that I did, apparently the recognition comes from a community or an area meeting certain indicators.
Yes.
So 12 indicators, in this case coming from UNESCO. There's, in theme, hazard assessment and mapping. So 3 areas under that would be inundation maps, which essentially is creating clear maps showing areas that floods will reach. In this case, I think Belize already has an idea where floods may or may not reach in Belize City at least.
So we know the low-lying areas are
Exactly.
flood prone, yes.
Then zone identification defines safe zones and dangerous coastal areas. That could also be said that we could do. Resource inventory, count people, buildings, and critical infrastructure at risk. Then we move things on to preparedness and planning. So we need to have a mitigation plan, write a clear plan to reduce disaster impacts. We also need emergency operations, set up a center to handle live emergencies, public awareness, display easy to read evacuation signs along the coast, outreach materials, share educational brochures with residents and schools, and then finally, warning and response. We need 24/7 reception, which is essentially receiving official tsunami alerts at any time of day or night. Community alerts, which is sending reliable warning messages to the public quickly. Evacuation plans, design step-by-step paths and transport guides. Annual exercise, run a practice drill once every year. That one would be interesting to see how we would do that.
Yeah.
And then community committees form a local group to lead safety efforts. So according to, based on the recognition that we received, I would assume that we have met these, requirements, these indicators to say that we are tsunami prepared, at least according to UNESCO. And so I think the conversation is less about infrastructure readiness and more about what the plan in place would be if something like that would happen.
Well, I'm hoping that we don't ever have to
Absolutely.
live through that. But hey, it's better to be safe and prepared than to be caught off guard, you know?
Yeah. All right, let's move things along.
Let's jump into another topic that we've been discussing for the past week, and that's a tragedy that has befallen Guyana with the capsizing and sinking of the MV Barima, right? So while we discussed last week that, travelers who were on board that vessel, at least 130 something of them, when the vessel capsized and sunk, a lot of people drowned. Some people, bodies have still not been recovered, so they're doing a recovery effort now as opposed to a rescue effort. But beyond that, it's interesting to note that senior counsels Godfrey Smith and Eamon Courtney have both been tapped by President Irfan Ali to assist in, one, the investigation into what took place at sea. And that commission of inquiry is being chaired by Godfrey Smith. And what they've been able to put together, Sabrina, is a group of 5 experts, I would say, in maritime law, in engineering, in the legal system, and so on and so forth, where they are going to be looking comprehensively at what took place in terms of certain shortcomings that led to this tragedy, right? So we talk about if they may follow certain rules when they board their passengers. We talk about if they probably overloaded the vessels. I heard from what I read that they were civilian passengers and they were also moving vehicles on the same vessel as well.
Yeah.
Right? So they're looking at everything that could have gone wrong. But then there's also an effort to be able to come to the assistance of the victims and, of course, victims' families, right?
Through some type of compensation.
It's the initiative is called HEART.
Okay.
It's an acronym. I can't really remember all of It's an interesting acronym, let's say it that way. It's called HEART, but it's not necessarily the Guyanese government compensating these families for their losses. It's to assist in this time of bereavement, right? But again, going back a bit, what's interesting for me is that they are looking to Belize to be able to help them through this, which means that our relationship with Guyana has always been strong, but this kind of partnership shows the brotherhood, I would say,
Yeah.
right, between both countries. And, you know, I was telling my colleague in the newsroom yesterday, I said, Godfrey Smith is well known outside of Belize, within the Caribbean region, for all these things that he's doing, you know. And to see him at the helm of this investigation, and I'm almost certain that he's going to do a good and thorough job of this particular commission of inquiry. And Eamon Courtney, so we spoke with him briefly yesterday to kind of get some background, and he provided some clarity where assisting with the financial aspect of it is concerned, right? So like I said, it's with a view to be able to set certain things up where these victims and victims' families can receive some assistance while they go through this tragedy. But yes, that's what we talked about this morning, right?
Yeah.
Let's move along though. So we were also talking a bit about domestic animal abuse last week, right? And I saw elsewhere in the media that some dead animals were found fairly recently. I believe it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? We can't stress enough, and I don't know if you're an animal or a pet owner,
No.
but this time of year where it's scorching hot, we can't leave animals unattended. We can't leave animals, you know, unfed, without water, out to the elements and what have you. So while we may not be physically hitting our animals, as in the case of what happened in Cotton Tree the other day, if you just completely neglect that you have a dog, a cat, a bird, a horse, whatever it is that you have as a pet, and you just leave that animal out there with no kind of, you know, that's a form of abuse. That's
Yeah.
animal abuse, right?
Well, I think this particular story is even more interesting, Isani, because based on what I saw online and persons engaging in the comment section, there were reports within the 7 Miles community in
Yeah.
Cayo that there were several domestic animals, so cats and dogs, just seen kind of like dying, and then in some cases dead as well. There were clips that we also saw online where these animals almost looked like they were having seizures or something
Yeah.
of the sort. Persons in the comment section was saying, and I'm assuming that these are persons from the community, that there was reports of a neighbor or an individual poisoning water. So these would be water in like a yard, and these stray dogs or these dogs and cats roaming around would go and drink the water. So if it has like, if it's laced with like rat poisoning or whatnot, this is the effect of that. And I think there needs to be a deeper conversation about that, even because we know stray and roaming animals in general, that's a nuisance. But is there any type of law that might have been broken there, where these animals would have gone in gone on this property, consumed whatever was laying around there, and result in this? I mean, we've also seen of cases where horses and cattle, you know, there are several reports of abuse taking place, and I think we keep on talking about not enough or not strong enough penalties in place for persons who commit these types of crimes or these types of acts. But this was a very disturbing example, I think, of what could take place when you don't really have any care for animals.
So, as far as I'm aware, there are certain programs, I believe it's either through the public health or some other arm of the government, where they look at stray animals, right? But to take it upon oneself and to do this kind of an eradication, if that's exactly what happened as you're describing it, I think that is against the law. That should be against the law, right? Because I remember back in the days where they used to put out certain warning that says, okay, there's going to be a stray dog eradication program to take effect. So if you have an animal, you need to tie up your animal, you need to properly keep that animal in your yard or whatsoever. So any animal found straying would be taken up in this program.
Yeah.
But you were warned in advance, right? So you were notified. But it's not the civilian or the resident of this particular community taking matters into his or her own hand. You can't just surprise and...
Yeah. I see other people also saying distemper, which is apparently some type of disease that could affect these animals as well.
Yes.
And the strains might look different in cats and dogs. And so if that's a case where there seemed to be some type of a spreading of sorts, this should be addressed by, I imagine, Baja or something to ensure that this matter is contained or is under control. But I think just the video on its own is pretty disturbing, and I imagine that's why we did not show it on screen. But if you are observing anything like this as well with your animals or in your community, please let us know in the comments section, because I think this is definitely a story worth pursuing.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move things along. I know that we definitely have been talking about all things music, and while it's KTV night, we want to give a quick spotlight to one of our very own, Shine Barrow, who has been making waves internationally, very much still with his music as well.
So there's a comeback being launched by Shine Barrow, right? And I'll tell you this, right? I prefer talk about the musician and the politician. I'll say that much, right?
Same.
But yes, so there's been a resurgence of Shine on the musical scene. Now, when he contacted me yesterday, he told me he was in the process of recording a second album, right? So he's been busy in his studio, you know, doing his thing. And viewers would recall that a few weeks ago, he performed at the King's Theater in New York, and that was well received in terms of the audience and you know, people still, as we say, rocking with him, right? And so he's preparing now to go on a tour of the United States, right? I think it's called 2622 or 2226, something of the sort. But there are all of these cities and venues that he's going to be visiting in August. And what's cool about it, 2622 as I said, right? So what's cool about it is that he's taking Stig on tour with him. He's taking DJ Rampage, a Belizean DJ, and of course, he will be performing with Barrington Levy.
Yeah.
So while Shine and Barrington Levy have Bad Boys and Bonnie and Shine under their belt as collaborative work, Barrington Levy is also a legend in his own right in reggae and dancehall music, right? So if you're into that kind of stuff, you get that ticket, you're guaranteed you're going to enjoy Barrington Levy. If you've loved Shine Barrow's music as a rapper, then you're going to get that too. You're going to get Shine, you're going to get Godfather Buried Alive, and perhaps teases of his upcoming work and what have you, right? But again, it's good to see Belizean talent on the international stage. Not only are we being promoted, but we're also showing the world that, good things do come from Belize where music and entertainment are concerned, right? So I'll also take the opportunity for big up Stig, right? He's getting the exposure that he needs, right? So that more people outside of Belize knows about him and knows about the kind of music that he's putting out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So his tour officially begins in October, as the dates would look like, and you know, it's across the country. I imagine you can check out his social media pages to see what ticket pricing look like. Do you have an idea what his tickets are like? Because I know with like bigger artists, tickets could run very expensive, right? So what I like on Shine experience ticket price?
That's a good question. I haven't been to a concert in the United States for the longest, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. But this one is being put together by Live Nation.
Okay.
Right? And Live Nation is the biggest concert promoter.
That song expensive?
Not really. I think what makes it expensive is when people purchase tickets and then put them back on the resale market.
Okay.
That's what makes it expensive, right? So we were looking at, I'll give you an example. Jay-Z recently performed 3 nights at the Yankee Stadium, and some people will tell you some of those tickets were through the roof insane, right?
But it's also the artists as well.
Yeah, it's not because they were being sold at that price out the gate. It's the fact that people buy up all the front row seats and so on and put them tickets back on the resale market at an astronomical price.
Yeah.
Right? Same thing for World Cup football the other day, right?
Yeah.
So that's what drives ticket prices up. But if you're a fan of these musicians and you have the disposable income,
Now I
why
have
not, right?
my final question to you. Do you think that Shine would pull off one of these concerts here in Belize and bring, the same talent, the same artists, and Belize would be receptive to it?
That's an excellent question.
Yeah.
No, you remember this would have probably been 2010, 2011, sometime thereabout, somewhere thereabout. Shine had a concert right here in Belize where he brought all of these other artists in. I didn't attend, for some reason or the other, I chose to sit that one out. But from my understanding, a lot of Belizeans showed up for that concert.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Shine, the artist, it was all the other American artists who are on that ticket.
Okay.
Right? But when you think about concerts and stuff that Belize, we always think about population size and draw, right? So you bring an artist and you realize, okay, for this to turn a profit, you need several thousand people in attendance, right?
Yeah.
Those people need to be, the audience or the fans need to be fully in tune with the music and everything so that they know where all in the catalog and what all to expect. So there's a lot that goes into the whole promotion business to bring artists to Belize. And I've always thought to myself, well, why primarily Caribbean artists?
Yeah, like why we
right?
don't have the other mainstream artists coming
Like, why we
here?
never-
Why can't get Beyonce out?
I don't think we'll ever get that because we don't have we don't have the pull. You have to bring people from Mexico and
No, put she
Guatemala
to Marianne
and Honduras.
Jones. We are full up Marianne Jones for she.
But yes,
Yeah.
like I said, I always thought about, okay, why not bring an artist? It doesn't have to be an A-list R&B or hip-hop artist. It could be somebody, with post-prime, even that, because that in and of itself would be something different as opposed to bringing a Jamaican artist at every turn.
Yeah.
Bringing a soca artist at every turn.
We need to have John Marsden on the coach to talk to
Have
me
that
about
conversation.
Yes.
My mind went to him just now when I was talking about artists and promotions. But yes, our last topic, since we're talking about music, is all about KTV Remix Season 8. Tonight is R&B night. I don't know whether anyone got nothing stash, but I'll check it out tonight so we can
This
talk
one
about
that
it
you need to
tomorrow
go
morning,
out,
right?
Isani. You need to go check it out yourself. We need to put you on the judges lineup list. No, I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to every week. I feel like I'm getting more excited about the level of performance that we're seeing. I have mentioned from the go that I have my favorites. I remember, I think it was last week, I was shopping at Broder's and I saw Judson and I had a little bit of a fangirl moment, Isani. It was my first time, my second time meeting him, and I said, oh my gosh, Judson, I really like your performances. You're one of my favorites. And he's like, being all cool and thank you so much. And then he said, oh, your name again? What's your name again? And I was like, Sabrina, nice to meet you.
So I've never met the fellow in person.
Yeah.
Right? But I understand that he's fairly close to the GBM family.
Yes, he is. He's more connected. not connected to nobody said that we the thief or anything like that. He still have to give votes and all of that.
Not in that connected, right? But he's fairly close to the family here at GBM.
Yeah.
But, he's a missionary.
Yes.
He's working in Belize. And when we think about missionaries, we think about people who are very humble and quiet how they go about their work, and it's often related to the church, right? And so here he is as a missionary by day and a singer by night, taking the stage, right? So I want to know how he prepares,
True.
how he chooses his music and how he goes through his entire process of transforming himself every Tuesday night on that stage.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a question we'll ask him when we get a chance.
Yeah, and I hope that, I want to say, I hope they all make it to the end, but unfortunately they can't. But I really like, as we get closer and closer to the end, you get to learn a little bit more of their stories.
Oh, yes, certainly.
And that's always an aspect of KTV that I look forward to, that I really value. That's how we were able to learn a bit more about Tamika Gordon when she placed in the top 3. I believe it was probably like her first season or maybe the second time that she came. But I'm looking forward to that, and I'm hoping that people like, you know, Tamika, Boomy, one of my next favorite, also returns. And, you know, ultimately we talk about this often, but it boils down to the voting. And so really it's more than just the talent. It's your ability to create a level of a fan base, which is also the same realities for artists like Shine Barrow, like Beyonce, like all these mainstream artists. You cannot do anything without developing a fan base, without developing a level of following and loyalty from your fans, that they want to purchase your art, they want to purchase your work. You could be one of the best singers. We know of so many great singers that have not been able to break into that mainstream area because they don't have that growing fan base, you know? That's how you have the Beehive and you have the
Barbs.
the Barbs and all of these people, right? We need to develop that, the Belize. What Shine's following call?
I have that. You should ask him that.
Yeah, I want to ask him that the next time I see
But
him.
here's the thing though, right? What's happening lately is that musicians and artists are more known for all the antics that are happening outside of actually the studio,
Yeah.
right? Than for what's taking place with recording and releasing
You know what
music,
I blame?
right?
Social media.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And
I want to hear the music. I know
Don't
I
even
hear
get me
about your fan
started on,
base
like-
and interaction with fans and stuff like that.
but
man.
you can't avoid that though in
No,
this
you-
day
no,
and
no,
age,
you
you
can't.
know? In an era of streaming as well, where these streamers are online, like the Kai Sanats and whatnot, these other like artists, they're even collaborating with these streamers. And so we see cases like where these KTV artists are even doing things on social media to try to get a conversation going and developing a fan base as well. But I'm definitely looking forward to this morning's show. I see Manny Gio saying here, Sabrina just said mainstream artists like Shine and Beyonce. Let's not get carried away here. Look, Shine probably has a fan base that call themselves the Shines. I don't know. But let's wrap things up here. I want to say thank you to everyone who has been engaging with us. We are quickly running out of time, and so we have to jump into our weather update now, brought to you by the folks from the National Met Service.
All right. Our weather forecast for today looks like this. Sunny with a few cloudy spells today and partly cloudy tonight. Showers will be isolated. Today's temperatures, 89 degrees Fahrenheit, 82 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast. Inland is going to be 95 degrees Fahrenheit and 72 degrees Fahrenheit. In the hills, it's going to be 82 degrees Fahrenheit and 67 degrees Fahrenheit as well. All right. The extended forecast calls for 87 degrees on Wednesday. That's along the coast. Inland is going to be 92 degrees. On Thursday, it's going to be 88 degrees along the coast and 93 degrees inland. Friday is going to be 89 degrees and 94 degrees respectively. And Saturday is going to be 89 degrees along the coast and 82 degrees inland. The astronomical forecast is as follows. The sun rose at 5:30 a.m. today. It will set at 6:27 p.m. and the moon rises at 6:04 p.m. later today, and it will set at 5:27 a.m. tomorrow morning. The marine conditions, sea state is going to be light chop to choppy with winds blowing at east at 10 to 15 knots. The tides, today's high will be at 8:51 a.m. and the low will be at 4:26 p.m. Today's high will also be at 10:19 p.m. and tomorrow's low will be at 3:14 a.m. All right, so that does it. Sabrina, take it away.
Alrighty, thank you very much for that, Isani. We are going to take our first break now, and when we come back, we'll be joined by representatives from the Belize Hotel Association and Sagicor Life to talk about understanding your health and life insurance.
connected in the USA for as low as $10. With Smart Roaming Data Pass, staying connected is simple and affordable. Get the data you need starting at 1,000 megabytes to stay connected to larger plans that keep you online while you travel across the USA. So you can message, browse, video call, and navigate wherever you go. No SIM swap, no bill shock. Just simple, affordable pricing. Activate easily by dialing *100# using the Smart app or online. Smart Roaming Data Pass. Staying connected the smart way. Smart, bringing people together.
So it started off like any other summer day in Belize. I decided to go down to Builders Hardware since I hear they had 25% off on summer outdoor products. I got a couple of items, a chair, a grill, a cooler, and I got carried away, but the prices were so good. But anyways, I might have gotten comfortable, maybe too comfortable. Then I saw the news, and the hurricane season was not playing with me. But thank God Builders also had 25% off hurricane preparedness items as well. Flashlights, batteries, sealant, first aid kits, everything I need. And guess what? My grill survived.
There are many questions about child marriage and early unions.
But remember, child marriage and early unions are harmful. They happen when a boy or a girl under 18 is married or living in an adult union.
We can end this in Belize by knowing and respecting children's rights,
Understanding who is most at risk,
learning how to support each other,
and
and remembering how the law protects us.
To learn more, talk to a teacher, social worker, or follow the National Commission for Families and Children for more information. Protect Belizean youth. Our future matters. To learn more, follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
The way Belize uses electricity is changing. At home, families are using more devices, smarter appliances, and connected technology. Across the country, businesses are growing, industries are expanding, and communities are finding new ways to live, work, and move forward. Behind that progress, the energy system must continue to grow with Belize. At BL, modernizing the grid is part of preparing for what comes next. A grid with greater visibility, more accurate information, and better tools to manage energy as needs change. Through investment in digital systems, upgraded infrastructure, and improved monitoring, BL is strengthening how electricity is managed and delivered across the country. Not just for today's needs, but for the future Belize is building. As new technology emerges, from solar generation to community energy systems, the grid must be ready to support them safely, reliably, and sustainably. This is the work of modernization, step by step, system by system, community by community, helping prepare Belize for a more connected, resilient, and sustainable energy future.
Introducing BB Insurance, built for Belize. Your security, our priority.
KTV The Remix Season 8 is bringing the heat every Tuesday night. Experience Belize's biggest singing competition live from the Bliss as your favorite contestants battle it out on stage with unforgettable performances. The show starts at 8 p.m. sharp, so don't be late. Get your tickets today at Greater Belize Media on Coney Drive or 88 Shopping Center and come be a part of the excitement. KTV The Remix Season 8, where Belize's next superstar takes the stage. See you every Tuesday at 8 p.m. only on GBM.
We at Fulltech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Fulltech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
And welcome back. Our first conversation this morning is with the Belize Hotel Association as we discuss a partnership with Sagicor Life as it pertains to insurance. In studio with us this morning is the president of the Belize Hotel Association, Ronaldo Malik.
Thank you. Morning.
And he's joined by Naomi Martinez. She's the general manager of the Belize Hotel Association. Guys, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
No problem. Before we get into discussing this partnership and insurance, I want to congratulate you first and foremost for returning as the president of BHA.
Thank you.
Perhaps you could take a quick minute to talk about the new configuration of the board for the Belize Hotels Association.
Yeah, real quick. A couple years ago, we did some updates to the bylaws of the association because previously the bylaws only allowed for a one-year term. And so when I became president, I was like, well, you can't get much done by the time you get something started. You're like right back, the cycle is ending, right? And then we were already on a weird membership term because our membership year runs from July 1st to June 30th of the following year. So we're mid-year to mid-year. So we're already, to me, out of sync, right? With budgets, with anything else,
Something
right?
kind of off.
It's kind of off. So the bylaws had never been reworked from the day that the organization had been formed. And Naomi just recently, after years of digging, found out the exact date, which was
1972.
1972. Wow. So I'm not older, for once I'm not older than something, right? The organization is older than myself. But yes, we just had our annual general meeting, July 2nd in Belize City, and at that meeting, again, one of those sort of oddities about our association, you're elected by the membership to the board.
Yeah.
And then you have to go through, at the board level, another election where the board then elects the executive, the president, the two VPs, the treasurer, the secretary. So that's our process. And so yes, I am now confirmed again as the president for 2026 to 2028. And Naomi doesn't like when I say this, but I'm going to say it publicly. This is my last term, so I am intent on making a real difference and a real impact on not only on the association but on the industry at large.
Is this tenure more about completing projects and things that you set out to do, or more about setting a foundation for continuity after you?
Both. The association, just like the sector, the overnight hospitality sector right now, finds itself at a crossroad, because the one thing that tourism demands is that you have to keep reimagining, not reinventing. You can't reinvent ourselves, right? We only have one blue hole, we only have the rain. I mean, those are things that we inherited, right? But you have to reimagine how you frame those resources and how you use that to the advantage of the country as a destination. So, because the other destinations keep catching up. We do one thing, Like years ago, we were the only one leading with sustainability. Now everybody, Costa Rica, everybody leads
No, it's
with
a buzzword.
It's a
We set the
buzzword.
pace.
Right.
Yeah.
It was it still is who we are. Nothing has changed about that. But we, let's say use sustainability as an example, we have to keep pushing that envelope. We have to do even more, right? And then when it comes to now, you know, we're very big on using our culture, our actual history as the attractions, right? You have to keep coming up with different ways to frame that that's going to keep making that attractive to the next generation of traveler. Remember that who came this year is not necessarily who's going to come next year. You don't. It's not a captive audience. Travelers are travelers for a reason. Come to Belize this year, cross it off the list. Let's go to Costa Rica next year. We need to get the other tranche. Maybe the people that went to Costa Rica last year to come to us this year, right? So it's a ever evolving model that we have to be, and so that's where the association has to adapt.
Yeah.
As any membership organization should be, our members look to us to set the pace. So that's a constant thing, and so it's about setting the pace, including bringing value all the time. You know how it is, right? It's a whirl of what have you done for me lately. This is great news, what we're here to discuss today. But a year from now, it's going to be old news. And it's going to be, so what did you bring to the table next year?
On to the next.
It's on to the next one.
Well, let's touch on what you just mentioned, what we are bringing to the table today. And I have to admit, when I first saw the title, I thought to myself, Sagicor and BHA? I don't know. I don't know
Unusual
about
partnership?
Yeah, right? And so I immediately said, before we went on air, Sagicor and BHA? And I want you to quickly just go into what you responded to me, because you know, it really made sense the moment that you reflected on what were patterns, what are things that you saw within the hotel industry, and why it led us to this point now of seeing this partnership.
Well, at the risk of dating myself,
yes,
I've been around a while, professionally speaking, right? And I've been in a wide range of sectors, of industries. I've been in banking, I've been in construction, I've been in information technology, in education, and a few more, right?
Oh, dang, you've been around.
I've been around. I've always had insurance coverage, health and medical, right? Until I got my job in tourism back in 2018 at the Moyono Group. And I was just telling you off air, when they went through that package with me that day, the base salary, the vacation, the paid travel, etc., everything sounding good, but I'm waiting, right? I'm waiting, and then it never comes. And I said, you forgot something. And I said, what's that? And I said, insurance coverage. And they said, we don't have that. And I said, how do you mean you don't have it? And I said, that's not a thing in tourism. So this is 2018, right? And they're telling me this is not a thing in tourism. So fast forward today, well, I obviously, in my position at where I work full time, I was able to lead that conversation and then eventually get it. We had to start it slow. We started off with the top level for the executive level, then we pushed it down to management level. Now we have it down at administrative staff. And then next year, with the aid of the BHA's plan, we're going to push it down to our entry level and junior levels at that point. This is a big win, right?
It's a huge win.
Not only does it make it more affordable, but it's also available for any size organization. So it allows you to start the way that we did it. For example, you could go all in. You could come and say, I have 50 employees, I want to put all 50 on now. Or you could come and say, I can't afford 50 this year, I'm in the middle of my budget year, I'm going to do my top level, then I'll move it. You do a phase approach. You could customize how you want, because you're not going to say, oh, you have to put everybody on, or it's all or nothing deal. You can walk them in how you want, right? And then the rates that are available, these are exclusive BHA rates. Like if ABC Resort went to Sagicor this morning and said, I want coverage for my employees, they're going to get quoted a rate. Now, ABC Resort may be watching this segment and may say, why is BHA talking about a different rate this morning? Sagicor is going to say, you have to go join BHA, because this is a blanket coverage plan, and it covers their members. So it's only available as a value add to the membership of the Belize Hotel
So
Association.
Rene, you forgive my cynicism.
I know what comes.
So this is a great initiative,
but
it seems like super belated. I say that because you have all of these stakeholders in the tourism sector, right? Insurance should have been one of the first things where come up, right?
In any sector.
Exactly.
But it makes me wonder.
More so in the hospitality where tourism is. That should have been like a no-brainer to me.
So why was it not the thing? I mean, you said that they told you it's just not what they do.
Yeah.
Why? Is there like a...
I think that, and this is just my opinion, I think that for years, I think overnight hospitality was just kind of on their own, doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Not necessarily... I guess it took somebody like me that was coming over from more Main Street corporate to come in and say, no, but you need that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know this. When I started in 2006 with Infotel, and that was part of the startup plan. Not after you started and say, oh, it should be nice to go get that. No, that was a part of the plan. I remember being in Atlanta and contacting Mr. Pilgrim at the time and say, we can't. The U.S. office is not going to allow us to open in Belize without this. That's the other thing, right? These are regular pedestrian perks in other countries.
Nothing
right?
special.
Nothing special.
Standard.
This is standard, right? and so when you look at these other mainstream sectors, it was always there. My first one was at the bank.
Yeah.
Barclays Bank.
You know, though, what I think it is?
They put a date for herself.
You know what I think it is, though? I think for the longest time, there's been this sort of culture or stigma, even, for the lack of a better word, associated with insurance, as though it's like this luxury thing that only people with money would have insurance, or if you go about purchasing it independently, only people with money have life insurance or health insurance. And now it's transitioning slowly into almost like a prerequisite. You have to have that if you want to survive. In places like the United States, you can't even go to a doctor without insurance, health insurance.
Right.
And it's slowly now transitioning into that. We have more of like our NHI service, which is still a level of insurance. But what I want to ask is, how do you sell this to companies that have not had that? And they might just say, well, that are just more expenses. We did do this for the longest, and we know how to fix nothing when I broke.
Well, I think there's a couple of answers to that. One, I've seen in the media recently, and this conversation has been going for a while, where the question is being asked, is the tourism industry losing employees to other sectors, right? And and the answer is yes, but other sectors are losing employees to tourism as well, right? I came from BPO to tourism. So the answer, it's a two-way street, but having insurance in tourism, in overnight hospitality specifically, it makes that traffic more even now, right? Because now we're on the same playing field. Now we've gotten onto the same field. Before we were in a different stadium. Now we've gotten onto the same playing field as other sectors like the BPOs, like banking sector, like the utility providers, etc. I mean, who have had insurance for years. We play catch up, like you said. We are very, very belated, very late to the table with this. And yes, individual resorts and other individual members could have gone and got this by themselves. Right. But what we are doing is sort of injecting the enthusiasm into this and say, okay, we know maybe you would have wanted to do this. We're taking the work out of it, because aside from the lower rates, it's open enrollment, right? There's no underwriting for your individual employees. So if you want to walk in 25 employees tomorrow morning, you can walk 25 employees in, and there's no underwriting required for them to be covered under this plan. You just have to get basically your corporate documents in order and get that submitted, your compliance done.
Let's hear from Naomi for a bit here. You were mentioning that this was a 2-year process to get to where we are today. And I'm assuming, Naomi, that you are an integral part of getting this off the ground. What has that been like in terms of tightening all the nuts and bolts to get us to this partnership with Sagicor?
I think partnerships, especially for associations, unlike the corporate world where you jump immediately, we had to take a deep dive to assess how it will work, onboarding, compliance, as Mr. Malik mentioned, knowing the back and working with Sagicor, ensuring that all the dots are ticked. But 2 years, yes. I wish it would have been sooner, but I'm also grateful that we took the time to ensure that everything was in order, that we could properly set this out as a milestone for the association.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how do you go about presenting this to the companies now, to businesses that are a part of the association? And if you have already, what has the reception been like so far?
Well, Mr. Malik mentioned some, but there are 5, of course, loud, advantageous points where it's a 3-tier coverage. The more that is added to the policy, the rate goes down. So it's affordable for the companies. For the staff, it's also affordable because it's lower deductible. And then we also have the no assessment for the medical part. And then the big, like I mentioned, the bigger it gets, the rate goes down. So definitely affordable for staff and company.
Right now, the starting rates were quoted based off of 100 members.
Right.
In being enrolled. We're already halfway there to that 100. And then the next trigger point is going to be 350, which was when we originally started this process. That's where we started. But because of that, we're also now able to tell members what it will be when we get to that next trigger point, because we already know what that quote is. And at that point, so at Moyono, for instance, and I use this all the time at the board, we have a plan, or we had a plan in place already. So I know what it costs when you're signed up directly without the association, right? So I can tell you that when we get to the next trigger point, the savings are going to be about $60 per employee per month. And you can just project the math from there, right? You have 10 persons in there, that's a savings of $600 a month, right? So when you talk about bringing value, or a value add to our membership, now you start looking, your bigger players are going to be over $10,000 a year savings, but being able to provide a very necessary, it's no longer a luxury, right? It's a requirement now. And so at the bottom, very base of it, we're putting our membership in a position to look after their team members at a higher level.
Do you know what these policies cover? What all the insurance policies cover?
Yeah, so Sagicor pretty much has a standard plan. What they're able to do is offer it in different tiers. So the standard plan, the medical portion, is general health, and then with dental and vision on there. And then there's a life component, and then there's also an accidental death and dismemberment. And then that's where it can vary, right? Because the amount of the life coverage can vary. I think ours has 2 options at $50,000 and $25,000, and then there's also the AD&D, the accidental death and dismemberment. So that's where it gets varied right now. So we now mentioned this just now. Our offering is in 3 tiers. So you could get the full-on, the all bells and whistles, or you could get a more basic package, but it's still at the very base of it offers the employee the ability. You feel sick, go to a doctor. Go to the doctor. Right? And I will say this, and this is sort of outside of the Sagicor scope. As an employer, I'm also aware that you can go to private institutions like BMA, like Healthcare Partners, and you can say, listen, I want when my employee walk in, I want you to just take care of them. That 20% business, make that be a problem tomorrow morning. And so as an employer, and I'm putting other employers on the spot here, you can make that arrangement to where you can say to them when they come in, you don't worry about that part, get the job done. We can do some paperwork, and we and the employee and work out how we can pay the 20%. We have figured that part out, but we want to guarantee the 20% part for you as well. And then of course, there comes down to how you break up the premium. We do it, for instance, all our senior management get it 100% covered by the company, and then we come down a little. Right now, the lower levels get 80% of the premium covered by the company, and then they pay 20%. You're able to add in your dependents on there as well. That's a big deal as well, right? So I mean, it's a fantastic plan, and it really puts it within reach of people that maybe up to yesterday didn't think that this was something that was attainable for them. Though they can go pressure the HR department.
Love it. And perfect, since we are wrapping up this conversation, for persons who might be tuning in right now who know that they represent a company that's a part of the Hotel Association, what advice do you give them to start this conversation on how they can take advantage of the Sagicor insurance?
Basically, jump on board, right? This is yes, it is a value add for the BHA, and it allows us to attract other members and to show a present membership value for the investment in the association. But at the same time, it is an initiative that is designed to put our members on the same playing field as other industries. It is designed for you to be able to take better care of your team members. The healthier your team is, the more efficient your business is going to be.
Definitely.
If you're plagued by sick outs, legitimate sick outs, this will shorten, those people will get sick. This will shorten the impact. That it will mitigate the impact that it has on your business and the efficiency of your operations.
All right.
That's right.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us, sharing this good news, and we hope that people take heed of the information and also take advantage of their health and the opportunities that they have at hand right now. Thank you guys very much, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
All right, we take a quick break now, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we have more for you right here on Open Your Eyes.
Business starts with a vision, and everyday Belizean entrepreneurs are turning that vision into reality.
Hi, I'm Rosalie, General Manager of Cards and Merchant Services at the Belize Bank. Today, I am proud to introduce our new solution designed specifically for Belize's small and medium-sized businesses.
Introducing the Belize Bank Advantage MasterCard SME Business Credit Card. Whether you're managing everyday expenses, purchasing inventory, or investing in growth, this card gives your business the flexibility to move forward with confidence. Applying is easy. Visit any Belize Bank branch and speak with one of our SME officers. We'll help you find a solution that best fits your business. Your business is building Belize's future. Let Belize Bank help power what's next.
KTV The Remix Season 8 is bringing the heat every Tuesday night. Experience Belize's biggest singing competition live from the Bliss as your favorite contestants battle it out on stage with unforgettable performances. The show starts at 8 p.m. sharp, so don't be late. Get your tickets today at Greater Belize Media on Coney Drive or 88 Shopping Center and come be a part of the excitement. KTV The Remix Season 8, where Belize's next superstar takes the stage. See you every Tuesday at 8 p.m. only on GBM.
He skipped nights out, said maybe next time too often. Ramen became a lifestyle, all for this moment, his first car. Protect what you've worked for with RF&G Motor Insurance.
Life moves fast. Your connection should keep up. Need more credit? More data? A flex bundle that fits your lifestyle? With Smart Prepaid, they're a prepaid option for every lifestyle and budget, making it easy to stay connected wherever you are. Because with Smart Prepaid, you can connect on your terms. Purchase credit, data, flex bundles, prepaid plans, and all your favorite prepaid services at any Smart agent, Smart showroom, or simply dial *100 key. No stress, no waiting. Just fast, easy, convenient ways to stay connected every day. Smart Prepaid. Connect on your terms.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We're jumping into our second conversation, and it's all about getting licensed with the BTB. Now, this conversation will be centered around what accommodation providers need to know for 2026. There are clinics that are set to take place, and so you may be able to stop at different locations to get your accommodations renewal licensing in check. We're joined this morning by Geneva Joseph. She is the compliance controller. Also here with us is Edward Rivas, senior tax auditor. Guys, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
How you doing?
We're good. Thank you guys for having us this morning.
Yes, it's a pleasure. And I almost feel like this is an annual sit down that we have. I was thinking just a moment ago, I feel like every single year we have this conversation about what people need to know when it comes to the clinics. I know the clinics are not, this isn't the first time you guys have hosted this.
No,
I don't
it's
believe,
not.
yes?
No, it's not.
So let's jump straight into it then. The importance of hotel or accommodation providers to renew their license on time and to take heed of this type of information.
Yes, so the Belize Tourism Board has embarked on conducting annual renewal clinics to assist our stakeholders in getting their licensing renewed before it expires. It's very important for us to have accommodation stakeholders within the country operate in a license status continuously. So the license expire October 31st of each year. Last year we had one of our biggest renewal where we had 900 plus accommodation licensing that expires. This year is what we like to call our slow season.
Really?
Because we only have approximately 335 accommodation license that's going to expire. So majority of our accommodation licenses expired the year before, and it's going to expire the year coming.
Okay.
So what the BTB decided to do is to bring the service to the stakeholder. So we're trying to ensure that our stakeholder renew their license on time and as well as provide efficient and convenient services to our stakeholders.
Yes.
Why is it important to get ahead of the curve by doing so before the license expires?
So what happened when you are renewing your license, it's a list of documentation that needs to be provided to the BTB, and we need to verify those documentation. So if you wait until the license either expired or closer to the end of the period, it tends to be a little bottleneck at the end because now everybody is applying all at once. So what the BTB decided to do is to open up the renewal cycle 2 months ahead of the expiration, so you won't lose anything if you renew early. But if you renew early, then it's only going to benefit you guys that you guys are out of that rush, essentially.
Yeah. Does the licensing only last for 1 year at a time?
No, so according to our regulation, the licensing expired every 2 years.
Okay.
So for properties who their license are expiring in 2026, they receive that license in 2024.
Okay.
So it's for a 2-year cycle.
Yes, all right.
When you, excuse me, when you say there are only 350 remaining, against what number are we looking at in terms of the total accommodations?
So last year we renewed 921, and this year we're renewing 335. So approximately as it relates to licensed accommodation within the country that offer room stock to guests coming in, whether it's local or international personnel coming in, I would say we have approximately about 1,400 accommodation countrywide.
Excellent. And that, of course, includes hotels, guest houses, vacation rentals, any tourism accommodation entity is included in this. Mr. Rivas, talk about the importance of these homes or spaces to have licensing in the first place, and what level of legitimacy it provides to persons who are staying there to know that they will be safe, or what that provides.
Yes, of course, like what Ms. Geneva was saying, it is important to get the license because you have clearances that you need to obtain before getting, of course, the vetted by the BTB. And those clearances are needed, and those are what make the property safe for guests to stay at the place. And And that's the reason why not having a valid license could lead to fines, violations, and that's where we come in as a tax team, the tax unit. We go out and we ensure that these are being kept. Of course, the 9% tax should be paid by the guests, and those should be passed on to the BTB on or the 14th of every month. And we know that tourism drives our economy, so that's very essential for us.
How do you know though? Because I'm certain that there may be some challenges where people might decide to just turn their homes into Airbnbs because they're not living in the country often enough. How do you find out these different properties that are providing accommodations to people for service or for payment?
So we normally do, we go around on the internet as well, and we do our research. We also have word of mouth. Because it's unfair for people that are trying to be legal, getting their license and everything on point, and then you have others that are just, going by and not doing the right thing. So we do find out who they are, and eventually it may not be now, but when we do, the fines because of the penalties that come with it.
So how does that work if you guys discover that there has been an establishment that has been running as an Airbnb for maybe the past 3 or so years, never paid taxes, never got a license, and Mr. Rivas stumbled upon it? No. What happened after that?
So we show up to the property with a cease and desist package. We give them 30 days to get their process started. Of course, they need to declare their revenues, and then it's 10% for the first month of what they should have paid, and every 30 days it's 5% until the balance is fully clear.
Oh man.
So the fines are a bit hefty, and on top of that they get a violation ticket, which is decided based on whatever the scenario is. If it's for 5 years, if it's been longer than that, then we discuss with the registrar of hotels or with Ms. Geneva as well, and it's decided on how much the fine should be.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to get caught doing that,
That is right.
It's just a terrible experience and very expensive.
Do you guys find that year on year during this period of time, people wait until the very last minute to get their renewals going?
Yes, unfortunately, we do have a number of our stakeholders who would stretch it out to the end to get the renewal done, and when that happens, the team ends up with an unfortunate backlog that we try to clear within an appropriate period of time, but it all depends on the communication that we're having with the stakeholder, ensuring that they have submitted all the documentation. So the communication and the back and forth takes some time, and within that time frame the license has already expired, so then you're now operating in an expired status. So that's what we're trying to prevent, since we have embarked on doing the clinics and opening the renewal 2 months ahead of time, so that it gives them enough time for them to apply for their renewal. And what the team have been actively doing as well, we have communicated all of the stakeholders that would have an expired status for October, and we have provided them with the list of renewal requirements specifically for their accommodation. So what the BTB has done, we have reviewed each of these accommodation files to see what documentation we have on file that's still valid, that will still remain valid after the renewal period, and then we customize a list so they would know for your renewal, these are the 6 things that you need, these are the 4 things that you would need, and you would have the time to try to acquire these different approval documents, whether it's from the Central Building Authority, we have the Fire Department approval, the Public Health approval, and even updating your business registry with BCAR. So we have been in communication with them so that they are aware of what they need to require to renew, and that should help them to either attend the clinics, conduct an early renewal, or they're able to renew closer to October, but they have all their documents together.
What it sounds like is that acquiring these documents that they would also need might also take some time. And so if they decide to show up at the 11th hour to renew their licensing, they would really almost inevitably reach a point where they would be in a point of where their status is expired and
Exactly.
possibly operating
Exactly.
in that time frame, which I imagine is not an excuse either.
No, and the way we communicate with them, we have been communicating with them, I do believe, for the last 2 to 3 months, so they are well aware of what requirements are needed for their renewal. The advantage with the clinic, though, and the reason why we are trying to promote the clinic and encourage them to attend the clinic, once they come to the clinic with all their renewal documentation, they will receive their license within 1 day.
Oh.
So they cut down a 10-day period of waiting into 1 day. So when we are planning the clinic, what we do is we pull personnel from all the different departments that's needed to facilitate a renewal. We have compliance officers, we have tax auditors, we even have our finance department, and all of us are there in one room together, and you go from one desk to one desk to one desk, and when you are finished, you would walk through the door with your license in hand. So that's the benefit and the advantage of coming to the clinic. If you conduct the renewal regular on your own time, it would take approximately 10 business days. It can take more depending on the time that you would submit the renewal. If you submit it closer to the ending of the renewal cycle, that's normally when we get a rush of applications.
Yeah.
Where are these clinics taking place?
So the clinics begin August 10th, and we're going to start in Corozal. Then we move August 11th to Orange Walk. Then when we're finished, we're going to jump over to Keycocker, which would be
August 18th.
August 18th, and then we have San Pedro, which is August 19th.
Then the 25th I'm seeing there, Hopkins.
Yeah, we're going to go to Hopkins. Then from Hopkins, we go down the 26th to Placencia, and we're going to go to Toledo, the 27th of August.
Then we jump in Belize City, on September 1st. And the 2nd, San Ignacio. The 4th of September, Belmopan.
Yeah, we finish up in Belmopan. So we will be having clinics countrywide at all our major destinations and districts, and we encourage our stakeholder to take advantage of this service so that they would be able to basically be ahead of the game. It's only going to benefit them, and it benefits our team as well, because we're trying to get the renewals done in the most efficient and effective way for us and for them.
Absolutely. Well, this sounds like excellent information. Now, when it comes to payment, what does that look like? Aside from providing the necessary documents, do they need to have their payments on hand? Will this be a cash transaction? How will that process work?
So we will have finance team on the ground with us. They have the option of either conducting a transfer and provide us with the transfer receipt. Then the finance officer would apply it right then and there at the clinic. Or if they would like to bring cash, we will also be accepting cash.
All right. Well, as we wrap up the conversation, I will ask if you have any final thoughts you'd like to share, Mr. Rivas?
Yeah, sure. And like what Ms. Geneva was saying, we have different team members, we're going to have them on ground. Auditors, on our end, we're going to review the accounts. Since it's renewals, we need to ensure that they don't have any issues. There are no balances or arrears on accounts as well. So that's our main purpose there, to ensure that everything is up to par with the accounts, so that we can provide clearance for it to move ahead with the licensing process. And then, as Ms. Geneva said, hopefully they can leave the clinic with their license on hand.
Yes. All right. And Ms. Geneva, again, just for persons who might not be aware, and I'm sure this would be crazy if they are not aware of what they should be providing, what are some of the documentations that they should have on hand with them?
So once they're renewing for this year, they would need to provide us with updated fire and public health clearances. So some of their Central Building Authority's approval probably are still valid, because the Central Building Authority approval is valid for 4 years. So and then they would need to also verify that their BCCAR company documents are updated so that they would be able to utilize that. If not, then we would urge them to just do their annual filing with the BCCAR and then provide us with their detail extract. Ensure that the IDs for the managers and the owners that we have on file are still valid. If not, they could provide us with updated valid ID, which is either the biodatabase of a passport or their social security card.
Excellent. All right. Well, we do have to wrap things up at this time. Actually, final question, the price of the renewal.
So the application is $25 and you would pay an additional $10 per bedroom.
Okay.
So it depends on how large your accommodation is. That would be how you would calculate how much you need to transfer to the BTB. So it's a set application fee of $25 and then it's $10 per bedroom. So if it's just a 2-bedroom, then it's going to be $25 plus $20.
And does the violation fee also apply with the amount of bedrooms in the space as well?
No.
Okay. Just making sure. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for chatting with us and sharing this update. We appreciate it, as always, having you guys here and, of course, updating the stakeholders that are a part of the tourism industry on what they need to know. We wish you guys all the best.
Thank you guys so much for having us.
All right. We take a quick break now, but don't go anywhere. We have more for you right here on Open Your Eyes.
Declined? Now it doesn't have to be. Introducing partial authorization. If the card doesn't cover the full amount, it notifies you what's available. You can accept the partial payment and pay the missing balance with a credit card or cash. No decline. Get what you came for. Partial authorization now available. Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
KTV The Remix Season 8 is bringing the heat every Tuesday night. Experience Belize's biggest singing competition live from the Bliss as your favorite contestants battle it out on stage with unforgettable performances. The show starts at 8 p.m. sharp, so don't be late. Get your tickets today at Greater Belize Media on Coney Drive or 88 Shopping Center and come be a part of the excitement. KTV The Remix Season 8, where Belize's next superstar takes the stage. See you every Tuesday at 8 p.m. only on GBM.
Life moves fast. Your connection should keep up. Need more credit? More data? A flex bundle that fits your lifestyle? With Smart Prepaid, they're a prepaid option for every lifestyle and budget, making it easy to stay connected wherever you are. Because with Smart Prepaid, you can connect on your terms. Purchase credit, data, flex bundles, prepaid plans, and all your favorite prepaid services at any Smart agent, Smart showroom, or simply dial *100# key. No stress, no waiting. Just fast, easy, convenient ways to stay connected every day. Smart Prepaid. Connect on your terms.
They'll name you 100 reasons to step back. But when you achieve your goal, they will follow you. Gorilla, make some noise.
Nokshe Adventure Park came about from the birth of COVID. everything was on pause for tourism. So we decided, let's do something different. We got 10 bikes, 10 ATVs, and we were just doing ATV tours. Shortly after, we were approached by the cruise lines. We agreed to work with them, and from them it just started growing. We set up the chocolate tour first, and then from there we went into the culinary experience with the different Mayan cultures. We have like the gift shop, the cooking class, the shaman, and the healing, and it just all came together. When you reach a certain point, you need investors, you need partners to come into your business. Atlantic Bank just make it easy. Even my 7-year-old could do it.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Insurance fact. Did you know Home Protector Insurance provides liability insurance that is for licensing? Public liability insurance for the hotels and guest houses protects the guests staying at the resort. Tour operators insurance for on-site tourists and marine passenger liability for passengers. You take care of your guests, we'll take care of you. Visit any Home Protector Insurance office near you to learn more.
The next station is not just a place, it's the vacation capital of the world, Mexican Caribbean. Do you know why we are the capital of vacations? Because no other place on earth brings together so many ways to vacation in one single destination. Every vacation imaginable. Mexican Caribbean, the vacation capital.
And welcome back. Our next conversation is all about barbering and entrepreneurship. We have with us a 15-year-old barber who's doing his thing down in Dangriga. We have in studio with us Wakeem Arzu. Good morning.
Good morning.
Sir. Good morning, Belize.
And Wakeem is joined by his mother, Abigail Arzu.
Good morning.
She's here to provide some moral support. Good morning once again. Let's begin, Wakeem, by talking about your inspiration. What made you decide that you wanted to get into barbering at your age?
Well, ever since I was young, I always looked up to my dad, and we are all, hustlers, all trying to be someone, so, that is what inspired me to, try to be someone and push towards barbering.
Yeah. You seem to be very driven and very focused at only 15 years old. I took a quick view, guys, of his Instagram, and I was blown away. And that only just happened like less than 5 minutes ago. You are still in high school, I understand, but you have already set up a store. You completely manage everything on your own. You do your own marketing, and you're even here on the morning show telling people what you are up to. You spoke just moments ago about your inspiration, but what has this journey been like so far? At the age of 50, most 15-year-olds are not thinking of what you are and what you're doing.
You're not thinking about business.
Yeah, I don't even know that most 15-year-olds could get themselves one trim, Yeah. But you are doing that commercially. You are providing a service. Yes. How has that journey been like so far, and at what point did this intention spark?
The journey so far has been, great, excellent. I have the support from my family, friends, and it has been good.
Mm-hmm. When did you begin this?
I began three years ago. I started, at 12, I started on my brother. And from there, I took it on to friends, and I said, all right, I will take it on as a business just 10 months ago.
Wow.
So
Wakeem, I would never make a 12-year-old give me a haircut. I'm telling you. I don't know about you, Asani. Would you let a 12-year-old give you?
If it's another 12-year-old like himself or a little younger, they would experiment with it. That's what kids do.
Yeah.
Let's go over to Abigail, though. So when you saw that your son has this talent and this drive for barbering, and then he came to you and said, Mommy, I don't want to open a little thing in front of the house or help me set up a shop. What was that like?
It was a moment for me.
Yeah.
I watched him from our veranda first.
Yeah.
Getting people there, trimming them, and I looked and I would step outside to, are you actually doing this, Wakeem? And I couldn't believe it. And next thing you know, he said, Mom, I think I want to open a studio downstairs. I said, studio? I said, but we are not yet completely finished with what we have downstairs. He said, no, Mom, I've already spoken to Dad and we got this, we're going to do this. I said, Wakeem, when you want to do this? He said, Mom, in the next couple of weeks.
Whoa.
So you already had a plan,
you're sure?
timeline,
and
everything.
he said, yes. And of course, behind every child that seemed to be very ambitious, dedicated, we had no other choice but to just support him.
So you said
and
that.
So that's what we did.
You said that the downstairs was not complete as
No,
yet.
it was not
as
complete.
in like
No
structurally?
doors.
Okay.
No doors as yet. No windows. But we had them already.
Okay.
So all what Dad did was to call the experts and they came, set up everything. He got someone to come and fix up the design that he wanted. And he already ordered all the supplies that he needed.
Yes.
He said, Mom, I said, Wakeem, so what can I do for you? He said, Mom, all what I want you to do for me is to just get the shirt so we can look more, because I want to look professional.
He said, Mommy, just make I look good.
Yes, in the studio. And I said, okay, I got you. And I got his stand to keep his supplies on. And
yes.
He did it most
So
of
here's
his
my
own.
question. How do you keep him in line with his school and his obligations to his education?
The
Because
truth
easily
is-
get caught up between make money and go to school, right?
The truth is, I must say, that this child was born ambitious. So it's no surprise that he's where he is right now, because he has always been this dedicated person. I could recall way back he was probably about 8, 9, going to Solid Rock Primary School. And I said, you know, the first day, Mommy, Daddy wants to go and make sure that you're okay. But I had to go and take care of my students too.
Oh, you're a teacher?
Yes, I'm also a teacher
Okay.
at Ecumenical College. And so I was there wondering what is happening with my boy. So I said, you know what, I got a quick break. I said, let me go and sort him out to make sure his chair and desk and everything was. By the time I got to school, he was already in his class behind his desk and chair. He was all set. So he came out, he said, Mom, what are you doing here? I'm here to check on you. Very responsible young man.
Yeah.
I don't need to go and check in the morning to see that, make sure he's up. He's always up, ready and willing to. And he maintained his GPA of 3.5 and above ever since first farm. So he's heading to fourth farm, and we have already spoken. I said, Wakeem, you have this business, but make sure you only do hair cutting, on weekends, because during the week you need to dedicate your time to your studies, because you need to balance out.
Fourth farm, you got SBS, CXC, you might want to go to Ecumenical Junior College too.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more work other than just barbering, right?
And are you planning to pursue higher education beyond like your associates?
Yes, most definitely.
Yes. You are making it hard for the average 15-year-old who just want to stay in at a house and watch, streamers online on YouTube. You're starting a business. But what I want to ask you is, at the age of 12, you envisioned this, you probably had it as a hobby, and then it transitioned and evolved into something deeper. How did you go about managing your money? Because young people, they want to buy the latest iPhone, I want to buy a
The man got a clean
PS5.
pair of white and white here, first one.
They want to buy the latest Jordan. How did you go about developing a level of financial literacy so that you know how to invest in this studio downstairs at your house, how to build it up, to design it so pretty in there, buy the material that you needed, and make sure that you have a level of inventory that you can supply yourself every time a customer comes in?
Well, ever since I was young, I was always good with money. I always knew how to save my money and, invest it into the right things. I try my best to stay away from, the crowd, everything that would make you get, out of it and, lead away from your path. So I always try to, do positive things and, spend my money good.
So what was your strategy? Just for any young person tuning in right now who might have a dream just like yours, but they don't know, what step to take. Did you make sure that you save everything when you first start and then you invested, or when you first started making that money, did you enjoy it a little bit? What did you do?
I mostly saved everything. I would buy food for myself and my family and, but most of my money I save and things, because I'm not really a person who, spend a lot of money and things, so it's pretty easy for me.
And do you have siblings, or are you an only child?
Yes, I have a brother, Yound Arzu Jr. Shout out to you, big bro.
So you are the youngest?
I'm the youngest.
Wow.
How do you fit into your community, both at school and in your neighborhood where you grew up? Because most barbers I know are very popular people, right? Because everybody go check you for your haircut. And if you're still balancing that with school, that means at school everybody knows you and come around as well. How do you maintain that sense of humility about yourself?
Well, I'm quite respected because, you know, I deal with everyone with respect. So I would say it balances off well.
Now, what's the plan? Because Mami already said you have to balance school and work. You officially have your studio open now. I believe you said you opened it in June.
Yes.
What has the reception been like from the folks in Dangriga? Seeing a 15-year-old do something this big, a lot of adults are still working for people. And I imagine they only dream to have a location like this. But what's the plan for you?
I mean, my plan is to eventually, you know, build more shops, get more people involved because I'm a single barber, so it's only me that is, you know, in the studio and things.
Yeah.
So eventually down the line I will need that little help from other barbers, and you know, that's the plan, to eventually get more people involved.
I wanted to ask you as well, how did you learn barbering? Did you YouTube University? What was it?
YouTube University. I would just, you know, watch YouTube, and from there, you know, I would implement what I learned from YouTube, and I would implement it into my haircuts and things.
Yes.
So now for the tapering and the line up and everything.
No, it's pretty easy for me, you know, because, you know, I already put in the groundwork. So, but you know, this is a trade whereby you always learn more.
Yes.
So, you know, gradually over time I will get better.
What has been the response from your friends, people your age, seeing you do something like this?
They're pretty happy for me. You know, they're pretty happy for me.
Yeah.
But I'll also say this, right? I think what makes your opportunity all the more special is the fact that you have supportive parents, right?
Yes.
Because a lot of times young people have dreams, but they can't realize their dreams if they're in an environment where they don't have their mother and father who are willing to invest and support, right? So kudos to you, Miss Abigail. I mean, you're there through it all, and of course, you know, your dad as well is there through it all. What are you studying in school, and what do you want to be outside of barbering?
I currently major in business.
Okay.
Outside of barbering, I would probably...
So that hustler spirit, you know, you true and true.
You know, barbering, this is not my first job. I already worked at a supermarket before.
Okay.
But I knew that I didn't want to do that. So this is nothing new to me, but yes, I would probably join the US Air Force.
Okay.
Outside of barbering.
Okay. You seem to really have a plan in place at a very young age. And your mom is just sitting there like, you know what, I'm just going with the flow as long as you're safe at this point. I want to ask, what has been the most challenging part of the journey so far? Because I imagine there had to be some challenges.
Yes.
Little bumps and bruises here and there.
You know, sometimes when I used to like mess up, and you know, sometimes, you know, I'm learning, so sometimes I do still mess up. There are days where I wanted to cry. You know, sometimes I would be cutting someone and mentally I'm crying, but physically I'm not.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's not easy at all.
But why would you be crying? Because you feel like you made a mistake, or because, okay.
Because I feel like I make a mistake. I made a mistake, sorry. Yes.
But the beauty of it is that hair always grow back.
That's what I told him.
Oh wow, that's one way to look at it.
The only thing you probably have to give a little discount if I mess up, but the hair will
It's
grow.
not free one, it's one pound the house pass. Oh my goodness. So that has been the biggest challenge, making errors while learning to barber. And I know you've only recently opened your business, but has that journey taught you anything so far when it comes to planning for something like that, saving for something like that? Have you learned anything or had a fresh perspective about running a business or even money management?
Yes, I've learned a lot. I've learned how to manage my money a little better, you know, dealing with people, you know, because I cut a lot of people, you know, all different type of people, so I learn how to deal with people more professionally and more better.
All right. Well, Wakeem, you are, as I said, you know, making it hard for a lot of average 15-year-olds who might just want to do regular 15-year-old things, but I think beyond that, you are also an inspiration to many people, young and old as well, of what you can do when you're focused. Even. And just as Isani mentioned, kudos to your parents, to your family by extension for supporting you. I think this is an example of what can happen when you have a strong support system. Yeah. Is there anything you'd like to say? Maybe anybody you want to give a shout out to, who's been beside you through this entire journey? Remember what I tell you, what you look for that? Say when you want to speak to somebody directly,
yes,
and as well for your mom.
Teachers.
First off, I would like to thank God for giving me this opportunity, the breath of life every day to, get through. From there, I would want to thank my parents for, always sticking by my side. My family, my friends, and most importantly, my mentor, Mr. Richard Taylor. Shout out to you. And, everyone who was there by my side, mainly my customers, who keeps the business flowing. And, huge thank you to everyone.
So you have a mentor as well,
yes.
And that's separate from your parents?
Yeah, separate from my parents.
Is that like a family friend or a family member?
Yes, that's a family friend.
How did you go about deciding how or who would be your mentor? Is he someone that's also a barber?
Yeah, he's a barber as well. I classed with his daughter.
Okay.
And, one day I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw his page. I was like, it was quite impressive, so I decided to shoot him a message, and from there, both we do the same thing, so he saw what he could have helped me with, and from there we built a connection.
Perfect, wonderful. And Miss Abigail, would you like to say anything to anyone, in terms of this journey?
I would want to again applaud Wakeem for being an example to many of the youths out there. I want to as well encourage parents. Whenever you see your child doing something, they're dedicated to something that will allow them to become a success story, be the driven force behind them. Yeah. Don't give up on them easily, and don't be the first to bring them down, or you're using too much flour, or you're going too much to play basketball. No. All we have to do as parents, we see that something can come out of their ambition. All we do is to support it, because you just never know where it will take them.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
And you never know, Wakeem might pay for your own school fees. I mean, he's smart enough to get a scholarship, clearly, but you seem also driven enough to not have to rely on your parents for a lot of things as well. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. This is such a wonderful story. We hope that people are tuning in right now and they use your story as an example of what they can also achieve.
Thank you also.
All right. All right. Well, we got to take another quick break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, the good news continues. We'll be sitting down with Miss World 2025-2026.
Connected in the USA for as low as $10. With Smart Roaming Data Pass, staying connected is simple and affordable. Get the data you need starting at 1,000 megabytes to stay connected to larger plans that keep you online while you travel across the USA. So you can message, browse, video call, and navigate wherever you go. No SIM swap, no bill shock. Just simple, affordable pricing. Activate easily by dialing *100# using the Smart app or online. Smart Roaming Data Pass. Staying connected the smart way. Smart, bringing people together.
So it started off like any other summer day in Belize. I decided to go down to Builders Hardware since I heard they had 25% off on summer outdoor products. I got a couple of items, a chair, a grill, a cooler, and I got carried away, but the prices were so good. But anyways, I might have gotten comfortable, maybe too comfortable. Then I saw the news, man, the hurricane season was not playing with me. But thank God, builders also had 25% off hurricane preparedness items as well. Flashlights, batteries, sealant, first aid kits, everything I need. And guess what? My grill survived.
There are many questions about child marriage and early unions.
But remember, child marriage and early unions are harmful. They happen when a boy or a girl under 18 is married or living in an adult union.
We can end this in Belize by knowing and respecting children's rights,
understanding who is most at risk,
learning how to support each other, and remembering how the law protects us.
To learn more, talk to a teacher, social worker, or follow the National Commission for Families and Children for more information. Protect Belizean youth. Our future matters. To learn more, follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
The way Belize uses electricity is changing. At home, families are using more devices, smarter appliances, and connected technology. Across the country, businesses are growing, industries are expanding, and communities are finding new ways to live, work, and move forward. Behind that progress, the energy system must continue to grow with Belize. At BL, modernizing the grid is part of preparing for what comes next. A grid with greater visibility, more accurate information, and better tools to manage energy as needs change. Through investment in digital systems, upgraded infrastructure, and improved monitoring, BEL is strengthening how electricity is managed and delivered across the country. Not just for today's needs, but for the future Belize is building. As new technology emerges, from solar generation to community energy systems, the grid must be ready to support them safely, reliably, and sustainably. This is the work of modernization, step by step, system by system, community by community, helping prepare Belize for a more connected, resilient, and sustainable energy future.
Introducing BB Insurance, built for Belize. Your security, our priority.
KTV The Remix Season 8 is bringing the heat every Tuesday night. Experience Belize's biggest singing competition live from the Bliss as your favorite contestants battle it out on stage with unforgettable performances. The show starts at 8 p.m. sharp, so don't be late. Get your tickets today at Greater Belize Media on Coney Drive or 88 Shopping Center and come be a part of the excitement. KTV The Remix Season 8, where Belize's next superstar takes the stage. See you every Tuesday at 8 p.m. only on GBM.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We are jumping into our final conversation this morning, but certainly not the least. She was crowned Miss World Belize last year in June, and now Faith Edgar returns to our set to talk about what that journey has been like for a year and a little bit over a month. And reflecting on that journey, as I mentioned, as she prepares herself to represent Belize on the international stage in Vietnam. Ladies and gentlemen, tuning in, we have Faith Edgar, Miss World Belize 2025 to 2026. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. I've actually been in the buildings
probably 5 times. I've never been able to be on the show, but finally
Really?
I'm here.
Well, we are happy to have you here with us. It's so interesting because I feel like I've seen you multiple times, but I really only see you online.
I know.
You've really taken over the pageant scene from the Miss World Belize organization. I see you doing a lot. I love the marketing videos that I've also seen you promoting where you're from, promoting Belize by extension as well. I also was telling you just moments ago that there seems to be a lot of pageants taking place simultaneously right now. So really for pageant lovers or just people trying to keep up with what's happening, we're going to break it all down for you. What the Miss World Belize or the Miss World organization represents and why this matters to us to have this type of representation here. Let's take a step back and look at the organization, the Miss World organization. They differ. Miss World kind of has a different type of messaging from Miss Earth, from Miss Universe. Why did you decide to participate in the Miss World Belize pageant?
I think I wanted to participate in Miss World Belize, especially because I've actually been volunteering for probably the last 5 years in the dental field. And I thought, I've been in the pageant scene since 2016. And I was like, what is the next step? And so I thought about universe, I thought about earth, but I thought that my values and morals kind of fit the Miss World motto, which is the beauty with a purpose. So I'm actually taking my dental health advocacy to the international stage and hopefully can make a difference.
What has the year been like for you? And of course, your preparation for the upcoming pageant.
Yes, I've actually been one of the longest reigning queens. I think there's 3 of us that have been reigning for over a year. And it's been a lot of preparation. So I've been preparing for linguistics. There's many different challenges in this pageant since it's a month-long concentration. So I've been focusing on the different segments so I can hopefully place high in those segments. And if you do place high, you're automatically guaranteed a spot in the top 40. So hopefully,
What are the different challenges? Now I'm intrigued.
Yes, there's the head-to-head, which is where I'm able to speak about my advocacy. There's the sportswoman, where we compete in different sporting events because the Miss World doesn't have a bikini competition. There is the talent competition. I will be fire dancing.
Oh, wow.
And
did you learn to do that for this pageant? Or
I
did. You know ahead of time?
I wanted to take up a new skill, and it's been hard.
Whoa.
Yes, and of course there's the final night. I think that's all.
Yes, okay. So you are set to leave for Vietnam in just a few days, I imagine.
Yes.
What is the feeling like? You know, this is, I would say, a once-in-a-lifetime experience to be able to represent your country in this way. You mentioning further that there's been only 3 representation or delegates for the Miss World Belize pageant. I mean, this is something that only few women can say they've been able to achieve. But for you, what's the feeling like going into it?
I've been able to represent like San Pedro twice, and I think this time around it's more emotional for me because I'm actually carrying Belize across my chest, and I'm not just representing myself, I'm representing the country. So if I could like describe it in one word, it would be emotional. But Belize has only ever been able to place once before by Queen Elise, and I just hope to be able to carry that legacy that she's already started and to continue that and just to try my best and, you know, represent Belize with like the most immense pride that I have.
Now, one of the passions for you is dentistry, as you mentioned. Is that a profession that you currently work in? What's the connection to dentistry with you?
Yes, so I'm aspiring to be a future dentist. I am trying to get into dental school in the US, so I do have to have a bachelor's before that. So the curriculum is quite a bit longer, so it's going to take a little bit more time. But yes, that's where my love for the field has come from. So yeah.
And you've been able to connect the profession that you want to go into, dentistry, with giving back to people. What's that message like? How do you go on selling that to judges or, you know, a bigger platform?
I think that for me, the whole taking care of our dental hygiene has just been lost over the years. And yes, a lot of women are coming to the Miss World competition advocating for education and all of, like, there's so many different things that they're advocating for, but I'm trying to say, like, well, how are we going to advocate for education if we can't even keep the children in school because they need to choose between their health and their education?
Yeah.
I mean, across Belize, dental health, period, is very expensive. So I've met multiple people that have to, for example, a father that has to choose between putting food on the table or being able to send, like, go to the dentist himself.
Yeah.
Faith, 10 years ago, you decided to venture into the world of pageantry. What drove you and what continues to drive you to this day?
I think in the beginning, it started just wanting to put myself out there, try something new. And I didn't really know what it meant at the time, but my mom really told me, like, you know, you're giving this responsibility, like, let's try and make something of it. And from my very first title as Miss San Pedro High School, I made sure that I raised money for my school. I built palapas so we could eat lunch under instead of sitting in the auditorium. And to now, I'm actually able to take what I want to do with my professional career and be able to hold a title and kind of combine the two. And I think it's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Well, with the date quickly approaching, I imagine you are reflecting on what this year has been like so far. What are some key highlights that you would be able to share with us that has made this journey fulfilling?
Yes, so throughout my volunteer time, I've focused a lot of my time in San Pedro in the dental field. I've been volunteering with the Belize Mission Project since 2020, and they do move around the country, but I've just been stationed in San Pedro.
Yeah.
So for my journey, especially being able to go into the different communities in Belize that I would have probably never even visited before. And there's so many children that are just so excited to meet you and are willing to learn. And I think that's probably been the best experience. And again, very emotional.
Yes. You also mentioned that your hopes is to win.
Yes.
I would hope, we all want you to win, but having Elise take the stage in her time and place is a really big deal because of how competitive and how big these pageants are. Have you been able to stay in contact with her, learn what she did, and build upon that?
Yes, of course. I've actually reached out to maybe all of the queens that I have been able to reach online. And I just kind of asked for their advice and some tips and tricks, and they've all kind of given me a little something different. But the main thing has just been, you know, just to be yourself, talk to everyone.
Yeah.
That's been the main thing, talk to everyone.
So in lieu of a swimsuit aspect of the competition, you're doing sports. What sport are you taking part in?
So they actually start by narrowing the competition. It's 108 contestants so far. And they start with a beep test. And basically it's a lot of sprints, very tiring. It's like the police. You have to do this to be able to get into the police force, I guess. After that, they do different challenges. But as growing up, I've been a volleyball athlete. I've competitively sailed. I just finished hiking Victoria Peak for the second time in May.
Congrats.
So I've been trying really hard to stay active in the gym and just preparing my body to be strong.
Yeah. All right. Well, Faith, we are excited for this journey. My final question is, can we actually watch it live?
Yes.
How will that work?
Yes, so the pageant, because it's in Vietnam, it's going to be 14 hours ahead for Belize, unfortunately. So we would have to wake up a little early, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Whoa.
And the Miss World pageant is known for being super long.
Okay.
So if you wake up at 6, you probably haven't missed much.
All right, so we'll definitely be locking in and following your journey. I imagine we can also continue to see what you are doing online as well.
Yes.
Do you have social media pages that we can follow?
Yes, so there is a Miss World-Belize page that I do invite everyone to follow. And then my Instagram is Faith Edgar with a double R, and I will try to update that as much as I can.
All right, well, I hope hope you also enjoy your time as well. It is a competition, but you are in Vietnam as well.
Yes.
All right. Well, we do have to close things off at this time and wrap it up. It has been a wonderful morning. Thank you to all of our guests who joined us, and also you guys for locking in, commenting, engaging with us. It is July 28th, and if you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you. If you'd like to give a birthday shout out, or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop us a line on our email at oie@greaterbelize.com. You can also catch us on our social media pages. We have Facebook, that's Open Your Eyes BZ, Instagram, that's OIE Belize, TikTok, that's openyoureyes.bz, and then you can call us or text us on our OIE phone number. That's 675-2555. But please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes.
To start your morning right.
Until then, be sure to keep your eyes, your mind,
Your heart's open.
Have a wonderful Tuesday. We'll catch you tomorrow.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.